Now we are.
Okay. Hey guys, first fan of the night.
First fan of the night.
What do we have here, your medalist?
This is one of the second Fuddruckers haul that I got here. Now this time I'm showing it as they were in the restaurant. Last one I showed, I actually straightened the blade arms. This is how they were in the restaurant. I straightened them out to be straight, but but this one I wanted to show how they were. Also, they had the plain white side.
Yep.
Facing down, so the stencil was always above. I turned the stencil around on another set, and also you could see that this is how they were in the restaurant. I thought the blades were splitting, but it turns out it's just the laminate, the white coating that's actually peeling off. The blades are still in good shape. They're well straight. The blades themselves are in really good shape.
Now, we've been trying to figure out what caused these blade arms to droop so much.
Yes.
You don't normally see that on 1895.
No.
So we thought the blades were warping, but it turns out or the screws were loose, but it turns out it's the irons.
Yeah, they're bent, and I suspected that. I actually did suspect that this whole time. I seen them even as a high school age kid.
I don't think these blades are that much heavier than normal blades.
No. Oh no, these blades they're solid.
Was that kind of an outdoorish section, kind of? Could it be
No, it
moisture
wasn't.
that, like,
No. It was, well, when I say this was in that patio section, this was completely indoor. They made it look like an outdoor patio, just with that awning style ceiling, kind of a canvas, a yellow canvas.
Did you take any video when you were here?
No video.
Well, there's some pictures if you want to see them. I have them up in one of my slideshows. I think it might be slideshow 70, or 370, excuse me. And they're also on the Dan Smithy Newman Ceiling Fans Facebook page. So I've got pictures from there, both some ones that I took off the auction site, as well as I think some that I found on the Google site, on the Google Photos of it.
Yes.
I might even have some metal pictures of it. I know Pete sent some metal
I
pictures.
I did send, and then I have one I did not send. I had a very little one with me when I had my old shop, and I took them there.
Nice.
For lunch.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to make sure there was some place that had good fans.
Absolutely, and there aren't that many left in Milwaukee that have good fans.
Right.
I'm trying to think of where in Milwaukee still has good fan installs and like good food.
Ooh, that's a... Oh, yeah. I mean...
I'll come back to it. If you think of anything, let me know.
I mean, there's... yes, I was going to say, yeah, those I've been seeing as a
low
kid.
Low profiles, they're reopened
The
Marty's.
old low profiles.
Yeah, low profile ones.
Not to the modern ones. I'm talking the antique brass. They look like the Studio Series, the Hugger version of the Studio Series.
Where else? Are there any other places remaining that have good, where the food is really good and the fans are good?
Oh.
I'm blanking. I know there's got to be, because there's a lot of old buildings still in like West Allis area and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, I know.
Because Brookfield's all modern.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. While I really like the general atmosphere at Balistreri's, and it's clear they must have had cool fans at one point.
Yes, I think so too.
Because the controls are there from something that was clearly solid state. But as long as I've been going, which has been at least 10 years, because I went there before I even started working in Milwaukee, they've always had modern fans, and they recently replaced them with fans that honestly are kind of a step up from those Hampton Bays. Those Hampton Bays were really terrible. So the modern ones they have now are at least not all droopy and saggy.
All right.
I'll come back to this, because there's got to be some places in Milwaukee. Where did I take Rick? Oh, Walters. Where we took Rick.
After
during GMS week,
yeah,
with the emperors and the
U-fan huggers. That's true. And then there was actually that family restaurant that's kind of out in Brookfield.
Oh yes, with the homesteads.
Yes, with the homestead arrows.
Yep.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, my grandparents decided to host Thanksgiving there. I think I was not quite to high school yet, but we had that one year we had Thanksgiving there, and a couple others, like my brother and another relative. They're like grandchildren of my step grandmother.
Yeah.
They're like, check out those weird fans. They never seen any fans like that before.
Yeah, they're really cool.
They are unique.
You and I disagree. I like the You Don't Speed Queen barbecue in the kitchen which is one of the only commercial kitchens I've ever seen with fans,
Uh-huh.
has flower pot Daytons with the switch housing, which I like more than the regular flower pot
Right.
Daytons, 'cause they look a little closer to like a Sonidaire or something like that.
Oh, sure.
Those, yeah, they've got those in the kitchen. You can see them through the window. Anyhow, so this is the 1895 of Metalness. What else was I gonna say about it? Yeah, we're just trying to figure out why the blades are so droopy.
But yeah, those blade irons, I don't know how they could have gotten this way, but it is the blade irons because the blades themselves are fine.
One thing is maybe they hung decorations from them at one point.
Yeah, a lot of good questions, and I
have
have
no
never
idea.
seen anything done to them.
No, but I've also never seen another 1895 with drooping, sagging arms.
Right.
It's not like some of these.
And the
like,
other thing too, I've mentioned in the other video, is that there was a lot of, like, as I got older,
Yeah.
there was a lot more of these being replaced with those
probably
landmarks.
as the irons broke.
Probably, that's
'Cause They
likely.
don't seem to be failing any other way unless the pull chains got pulled out.
Yeah, and all the pull chains on these are well intact.
Well, I'm saying the ones that got replaced, maybe the pull chains got
Yeah,
pulled out.
but I've never seen them on any other speed but low there, because it's a restaurant and they just wouldn't really use high
Yeah.
there in a restaurant. So what I'm gonna do, let me you hold for a
I'll
moment.
hold
I'm
the
gonna
metal
pull
filming
chain
technique.
is missing from the light,
Okay.
so I'm going to have to undo the globe here and loosen the bulb. Okay. Plus, socket is
Yeah. At least they maintained them. They replaced the sockets as they did stuff.
yeah, the porcelain socket, but I just need a screw for it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just putting it back on.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the other thing I was going to say, I got a question from another collector comparing this one to the 90s one with the 5 blades
Yeah.
and talking about
Okay, so here's low.
0.24 amps,
Oh yeah, show the.
9 watts, so the power factor is going to be real low.
Yes, it is.
And somebody here, do me a favor. Well, we'll wait till it stopped. But he was asking about the blade size on the 90s Emersons versus the 80s. The blades are the same width and pretty much the similar shape, but the 90s ones are about an inch shorter. So we can hold one up if we want to see when next time the fan is stopped.
Okay.
Are you going to bother to tack it? I know you tacked the last one on all the speeds.
I could.
Doesn't hurt. I'm sure it'll be similar. I would at least do them all on high, if nothing else.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go with 185.
Okay, so that's gonna be like just under 50. That calculator's broken. We should just throw it away. Where's the green one works? Yeah, that one works.
Okay, so 185 divided by 4. Yes, just under 50, 46.
Yep.
But that looks about right, and this is how they would have been running with the light on.
Yep.
There was no separate lights in that section of the restaurant. They were these. The light kit were the lights.
There's a Chinese restaurant. I'm jumping topics. My apologies if I'm confusing people. There's a Chinese restaurant across the street from Glorioso's that has SMCs in it. I believe they're DC52 4 blades. Only time I went there, they were takeout only, so I didn't really get to see or film the fans. But I've seen them in pictures. I know I know they're still there. Glorioso's has silver lines, which are not bad, but not like a vintage install.
Right.
Now,
As I said, I'm going to say that I was amazed at the balance of this for the blades, at the shape.
they're all pretty much bent evenly or sagging evenly.
It is so weird.
Yeah, there's lots of cool fan installs remaining in Milwaukee, just not allowed in restaurants that I know of. That doesn't mean they don't exist. There's a lot of churches with vintage fans and even antiques. There's at least one church I know of with antiques.
577 here.
577, so that's going to be 140?
Yeah, 144.
Okay. Yeah, I'm practicing doing the math in my head, but I'm not trying to get it perfect. I'm just trying to get close.
Okay. All right.
And then there's a lot of like stores and things with cool fan installs too. Grocery stores,
Yeah.
Firestone, or is that with the Unions? Yeah, it's Fire. There's at least 2 Firestones with Union Gold lines in Milwaukee.
I thought there's one on 27th Street.
Yep.
And then
There's one on North Avenue, I think.
Okay, I don't think I've seen that one. Now, also those 4 curved blade view fans.
Oh man, those are cool installs.
There's still the one. Remember the building on 76th Street? The other one is also on.
By the way,
yeah, just check.
69 watts, so we're pretty close to full power factor.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm assuming that this, like a lot of vintage Emersons, is a 2-speed motor with a capacitor for.
Now that is loose piece.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Whipping. It's not bearing noise.
Yes, I believe Willow
Bearings
Smith
are
made a
actually
song
really
about
good in
that.
these.
Yeah.
Because they ran them on low. That's all they've ever ran them.
Yep. I was talking to Alec the other day because he put out some videos about furnaces, and he said he didn't know whether or not it affected the longevity of a motor if it just runs on high 24/7, or rather the bearings rather. And I said that.
Okay, so we're basically at 200 RPM.
Okay.
Because I'm getting pretty much 800 flat.
Gotcha. That looks right. Let's get the CFM. Yeah, so he mentioned in his video he didn't know if it was good or bad for bearings to run on high all the time. And I had said that it's not ideal. It's better than not running. Like a fan sitting in the box for 20 years is likely to have worse bearings than one that's run on high for 20 years. But really the best thing you can do is run it gently. You know, run it on low for 20 years or run it on high for spurts or even low for spurts, you know. Because eventually the heat will cook the bearings if it runs on high forever. He was talking in terms of furnace blowers, though, but it's the same principle.
472.
Okay. I will calculator that. Yeah, 14.75 times 472. 7,000 CFM.
Okay, well that's about right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not insane, but it's certainly presentable. Low end of K55 category or high end of spinner category.
Well, this is a KB55.
It is. And I've always said I thought the KB55s were, for a lot of reasons, a very well-designed motor. Now, they obviously were not well-designed for solid-state controls.
No, and we're going to show you that.
Yeah, but you don't generally get a lot of bearing problems with them. They're generally pretty efficient. They have low starting torque. There's a lot of things to like about them. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't. There's not a lot that can go wrong with them. Mm-mm. No flywheel issues.
Being a metal aluminum flywheel.
Yeah, they don't have the issue of the stationary shaft down the center that so many K55 type motors have. It's not 812 or 20. You're breaking the rules. Where's my leaf blower? By the way, Rick updated in the comments. We did learn the years for those originals. Yeah. The red one would be like 1970-ish, and the ornate black and brass one that did not come from Fort Worth. I don't know why somebody thinks that. It did come from Texas, but not Fort Worth. Was 1980, or is 1980 rather.
Long spin down.
Absolutely. I was gonna say, if Texas doesn't want me to buy cool fans from them, they shouldn't have so many. That's where I'm trying to think, because I'm trying to think where that big haul of what's the fucking fan that's out there? We got 9 of it.
Oh.
Plain Casablanca Classic. Yeah, that came from Texas too.
Oh, the Emersons.
Yep, the 9 matching Emersons that we'll get to one day.
Yeah.
If they were white, they'd be perfect for youth center.
Where would you put those?
In place of the SMCs in the sanctuary.
Oh.
Because a lot of people think, including the church, that white fans would look better there, because if you look at what it looked like when it was a movie theater, it wasn't really like a brass type of place. It was an Art Deco white, like ring lights would look really good in there too.
Yeah.
So we've talked about if we could find enough matching white fans, or even chrome fans, that would look really good in there. Where do you think it's going to start?
Okay, well, we were going to reverse.
Oh, yes. Well, I think we should reverse it.
Okay, this reverse.
So, silly Metal Pete, he almost forgot about reverse.
I didn't forget reverse. I had it set.
Pedal Pete forgot about reverse. Good thing I remembered.
No, I said it already, but I turned the switch on. I'm like, switch might be a little wonky.
Yeah, Deoxit is the best thing for that, but WD-40 will work in a pinch.
Okay, good.
You know Deoxit for your studio equipment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would not use WD-40 on studio equipment to deoxidize the controls. There's too much that can go wrong, but on really basic controls like fans have,
stuff.
yes. But more like really basic stuff, that's running pretty good. The same current draw. Do you want to bother tacking it in reverse or no?
No.
Okay. It looks about the same.
Yeah.
I mean, these are good runners.
Some of these were in reverse running. They kind of mixed them.
I wonder if it was on purpose or on accident.
That's a good question. That is a good question. Just like Rick described the, what are those? The sea islands at the bowling alley.
Yeah.
Mixed. Even if they're on solid state, they're on different pull chain speed settings and reverse.
Same current draw. There's a couple bowling alleys in Madison that still have vintage fans left. At least they did the last time I was there. We should do a fan collector bowling night at some point.
Okay.
There's one that's near my house that Nia likes because they have cheap, strong drinks, or at least they did before COVID.
Okay, so now you can see there's a little more wobble in reverse.
But not crazy.
No, I'm just so amazed that I don't know how they...
I don't think I did watts, but we know it's power factor of 1, so...
Yeah.
The one near my house, I've done videos there. It's got a bunch of Menard spinners, but a bunch of them have been replaced over time. Then there's one on the west side of Madison, near Westtown, that's got like 30 or 20, or I don't know how many it is, Encon Monarchs, and none of them have been replaced. They're all still all original and still running. And even though they're not like a super cool fan,
did you say?
like the Menard spinners, like the little one that's exactly like that. On the, but I think
I've seen those over the snack bar then.
I don't remember them being in the snack bar, but they were in the over the lanes. Maybe there's some in the snack bar too, and I forgot.
Yeah, because the one by Northridge, not the one we went to, but the previous one.
Yeah.
Had them over the snack bar.
I was talking about in Madison, but if you're talking about bowling alleys in Milwaukee, there's one in Greenfield that's got ring fans.
Oh, which ring? I think I might know. I'm
yeah.
not sure.
It's like,
the same one I'm thinking.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but it's only bowling alley in Greenfield, I think.
Okay.
Where do you think it's going to start?
Oh, I think this should start on 2, considering the bearings are really...
I'll say 3, but I think you're right. Yeah, we should do some fan collector bowling nights so we can go look at some vintage fans.
I agree.
And eat some chicken wings and cheese curds.
Yeah. Oh, yes. 1. Hold on. 2.
Looks like it. Oh, wasn't expecting that. It stalled.
Yep. 3.
Bearings are a little rougher than they seem.
Just a hair, but it's like not noticeable.
Nose hair.
It's not noticeable.
Glue it to the... Crunch, 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 crunch. Pete has a variety of Crunchables today. This might be the biggest variety of Crunchables I've seen. There are 3 different categories of Crunchables. The usual Crunchables of salty snack foods, and then 2 different varieties of sugary snack foods. One category being candy, and the other one being cookies. I will let the viewer guess the specific Crunchables in all 3 categories. I will just say I was not surprised as for the salty Crunchables. I was a little surprised on the sugary 8, 12, 20s in both categories, but they're all good choices.
Mm-hmm.
And in one of the categories, the hint that I'll give is his metalness is supporting our troops. Not the troops they're thinking of, probably, but you know what troops I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you figured that. Okay. Yes,
Yes,
we support our troops.
I'm talking about a scout troop.
See, now you're giving too many hints, but that's troops too.
Yeah.
I think you've almost given it away by saying that, but that we'll edit that in post. Could be any troops.
Here's 5. This is a good perfect low right here.
I would agree.
This matches. Yeah, it does
Yep.
match. So
Yep.
I'm thinking might have used a 5 in there.
Okay.
6. There's one thing I forgot.
Okay, I forgot. Oh, maybe he forgot the beverage of fan collectors. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Grab one for me too while you're at it.
Got it.
Crunch, 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 crunch. Thank you so much.
We'll need more.
Of course.
To get some.
I have some beverages. Do you drink energy drinks?
Yes.
Okay, Nia has bought a bunch for the house, and nobody's drinking them at the house, so I might bring them over here. You know, that's what I tend to do when we have leftover snack related.
Yes, 7.
Is bring them over here. Okay, he's getting ready. Everybody, cover your ears. This is the danger zone.
Okay. And then 8.
Crunch, 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 crunch. So I'll bring some over. I also have some ginger ale that I bought. I keep ginger ale in the house for when I have trouble keeping my meds down. And but there's some that's just been sitting there and hasn't been drank, so I'll bring it over here too. But none of that is Sperry, the beverage of fan collectors. It's all secondary to Sperry. But we can add it to the several cases of Reese's. Crunch, 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 crunch.
Well, like a medium low.
Yeah.
10.
The main reason I didn't say anything about turning off the other fans and stuff, because you can still kind of hear them humming in the background, is because we know how loud this is going to be.
Right.
Normally, I'd want to turn everything off so we have no background noise, but we know that this will be silent until it's time for solid state.
The fans in here are all capacitor controlled.
Well, there's one solid state, but it's silent on the solid state. But I can hear that frickin' Palco.
Yeah.
There's a loud Palco. That would be one to bring to Bill and see if he can figure out why that motor is so loud. He might be able to fix it. When you bring him some motors to rewind.
Change the bearings in it.
It's not bearings. It's an electrical.
And then here's 11.
Okay, cover your ears, because there's something louder than the Palco. This way comes.
And 12.
Crunch, 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 crunch. I will say, with the exception of candy corn and Peeps, his metalness has good taste in candy. Now,
I said I don't mind them, but
you're supposed to mind them.
why?
Peeps are the pumpkin spice latte of candy.
Or with the Peeps song, I think of Pretend to be Ozzy Osbourne with the Peeps.
That's a different reference. Yes, that is.
Think about with the Peeps, Pretend to be.
I know
Ozzy
exactly
Osbourne.
what you're getting at. That man, I don't know how he kept on doing the show after that. Because if that were me, I would have walked off the stage and got some Listerine immediately. Because that's. But he's a showman. He kept going.
13. 14. 15. What did it draw on medium?
0.6, so we're already over.
Okay.
But again, it's a little different when you're doing capacitors versus coil taps. In fact, you would want to match the wattage, not the amperage. If you're trying to match speeds, actually, it's more accurate that way. So the 0.6 amps times 120 is probably about 70 watts. It'll be about similar on medium.
Okay, here is 17.
Yeah, 72 watts would be matching the mediums, I think.
$19. What did it draw on high?
Like 1 point something.
Oh, okay, so.
So we still have a little more crunching to fear.
Yeah, we're at 19.
Oh dear.
And 20.
Crunch, 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 crunch. I'm actually hungry. I haven't eaten my dinner yet. I brought a sandwich along. I went to Stadium the other day, and I got a beef from there. I'm going to eat that later. But I would be eating some Crunchables now, except that my hands are full, and then I have to yell crunch. So, no, we're almost done with the video. I can do the rest of it. That's fine. Then you can have your hands free for the test drag, unless you really want it.
Oh.
If you really want to take the camera, you can. I just am happy to
Alright.
to cover the rest of the video. I meant to bring my tripod again, but I forgot it. I forgot the tripod. I forgot the WD-40.
And then here's 21, 25, 30. Let's hit the high.
Still got a ways to go.
Okay. 32. 33. I wanted to draw what's the highest.
I think it was like 1.07, but I'm not sure.
There's 34. 35. Not really. 6.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go over.
I maxed it out, and yeah, I'm right at there, I think. Hit the high switch. Yeah, not. I don't know if I really want to count that because I'm already.
You're right, close, yeah. Okay. Well, 0 to high first or solid state first?
Holding solid state.
Okay, well, do you think it's going to be 11 or do you think it's going to be scales?
Oh, I think it's going to be scales.
I worry that it will be scales.
And like I keep saying is, well, loud is fine, but distortion, just total distortion, I just want to keep it clean.
Yes.
That's where I stand with it, is keep it clean so it's... Okay, so the solid state is bottomed out in the trim and the main dial in it already.
I don't think it's going. I think that's just the wind because it's not drawing any current. If you're curious, you can stop it by hand, but it's drawing 0, so I don't think it's doing anything.
Okay. All right. Well. Oh, ready for scale. Fire alarm.
Not as bad as the other one, I think, but let's see.
Oh, no.
It's getting worse.
So, fire alarm going off.
Yeah.
But as soon as I take it all the way to high, it's not so bad.
I feel like that's not as bad as the last one we tested. I could be wrong.
A little less, but...
I feel like that might be 11, but it's not scales.
Okay.
You know. Scales... Well, actually, we gotta have 3 categories. We've got 11, we've got 8, 12, 20, and we've got scales. So those are I think the loudest is still... I think scales is the only thing that can drown out the crunching. So, okay, 0 to high, what kind of inrush do you think it's going to have?
I think it's going to have small.
I'll go with big.
All right.
Seven, so let's see how far it drops. Huh, it's not dropping. Is it no inrush?
Could.
No, it dropped. Oh, wait, it went back. It's flopping.
It's weird. It's a little weird.
I'm going to call that small inrush. So yeah. Pete wins this one. Well, time for the Rick test. Do we want to do a true Rick test and turn the light back on or just do a virtual Rick test?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Because, in fact, I want to show it the way it was in the restaurant.
That's fair. That's a perfect Rick test, if you ask me.
Yes. Yeah, remember the pull chain is non-existent on this one, so...
Yeah, easy enough to add one if we ever decided to.
Will. Yeah, this is just a standard single light kit. Nice globes, though, that they came with.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It's funny. The older I get, the more I like these just plain round globes. I used to prefer Schoolhouse.
Okay.
But these look... There's some fans that a Schoolhouse looks good, but I don't think there's a single fan that a round globe doesn't look good on. And also, I learned that for most fans, round globes came first. Okay. Now, technically speaking, Schoolhouse globes came first because Antiques had Schoolhouses, and then A&Gs, which were the first fans to have an integrated light kit, even before Casablanca, had Schoolhouse. But then when Emerson and Hunter started offering light kits, they offered round globes first. And when we think of light kits, that's mostly what we think of. Well, I'm gonna guess that this is an avocado appliance because he wants one.
Yeah.
And it's an Emerson.
Yeah.
And it's an 1895, and it's an 80s Emerson, and it was in a Fuddruckers, and I know he likes Fuddruckers. How metal is it?
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, it ain't absolutely high, but it's fairly high.
It's your least favorite song from Cannibal Corpse. Or not even your least favorite song. It's one of your songs that you like but don't love from Cannibal Corpse.
Oh, yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
Or any death metal band, one of their filler songs.
One of the filler song. That's a good term. That's a great term, because one of the things I learned from Prince is that a lot of times artists, they don't put every song on an album is not supposed to be a hit.
Right.
Some of the songs are supposed to flatter the songs that are supposed to be hits. Like when Prince would put together an album, he'd pick 3 or 4 important songs, and then the other songs he would put on the album would be ones that he was picking that drew your attention to the ones he really wanted you to pay attention to. But some people really like those filler songs too. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's not to say that they're not good songs.
Right.
Do you remember where I ranked the last one? Because this would be the same, obviously. It's the same fan. I can't remember if it was low end of Menards or high end of Quick Trip. Somewhere in there, somewhere around the line.
Yeah, see, it's kind of the same as yours.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, I prefer like designers
Yep.
and Blender fans.
Or a Brown and Brass and Stencil 1895 is a big childhood fan for me.
Okay.
But White 1895 is a big childhood fan for me too.
Sure.
Although I do like the Blender Canopy better.
Yes.
But these are also really good runners. Like when the last version of these has the stronger motor. So yeah, there's just a lot to like. These are rough, but we won't hold that against them. Well, I guess it's time to thank our sponsors, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, I'll throw mine out there first while he's turning the house lights back on. We got Fan Stick, Light Stick, Taco Burrito Mexico, Sperry the Beverage of Fan Collectors, RickerSheep.com, a fun game you can play with your friends. Go to RickerSheep.com. 81220 LLC,
Sperry.
where our motto is crunch, 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 crunch. Power Vacuum, the vacuum with more vacuums. Jonas Organs and Doorbells.
Yes.
Forget. Reese's Pizza. Don't forget to eat your pizza.
Yeah.
Am I forgetting anybody? My Kid's Obsession.
Yeah.
Where you can like fans or cockroaches.
And vacuums.
Of course, vacuums. But we already had Power Vacuum, the vacuum with 3 vacuums.
True.
Well, I think we've covered all the sponsors. So I guess it's time to wrap up the video. It's too bad that we have nothing else to talk about and the video's over. And wait, who's that at the door?
Oh.
Why, look, it's Metal Jonas.
Oh. Oh, lovely new tone doorbell.
By the way, if anybody wants to see his metalness rushing to the 81220 Crunchables when I shouted out that sponsor, then make sure you watch his video, because I had the camera on him from his video. My camera was still at the fan. So if you're watching my video, make sure you go to Metal Pete the Metal Fan and subscribe while you're there. Yes. As well as you should change your channel name to Metal Pete and Metal Jonas. So Metal Jonas, you looking for anything in particular?
Oh, would you have any Emerson catalogs?
Yes.
Oh, lovely Emerson catalogs. Or even some Homestead catalogs.
Yeah, we got some of those. Hey, Metal Jonas, guess where Nia and I went earlier this week?
Oh, I bet you went to House on the Rock.
And do you know what it was like?
Oh, one word, incredible. One word, overwhelming. One word, amazing.
Wow. Well, it's great to always have a visit from Metal Jonas. Well, it looks like Metal Pete's back. I got a question for Metal Pete. Now, does Metal Jonas ever show up in your videos when I'm not here?
He has not so far.
But he could. You just never know when Metal Jonas will show up.
And well, there's also Ricker Sheep.
That's true. Ricker Sheep. We can't predict when Ricker Sheep will show up.
Right. We can hear them.
That's true.
I hear them.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm here.
Absolutely.
So Ricker Sheep is.
Well, we got a lot of projects and fans to test and things to do. So as always, patreon.com/dspiffy. Thanks for watching and
Bye, Fan Stick.
thanks for watching.